Yo, I would like to apologize in advance for the most scuffed setup you've probably ever seen on this channel. I'm so sorry. I'm currently on holidays, so kind of have to make do with what I have right now. But today we're going to look at a AI software that does a bunch of different things. The software is called RipX, and it separates any wave or MP3 file into stems using AI software. I have no clue how it does it, but you can literally drag in your favorite Drake song and separate all the drums, all the melodies, even the vocals you can solo. You can add effects on the separate layers. You can repitch them, reharmonize them, and a lot more. So you can just imagine how powerful this tool is in practice. With that being said, this video is sponsored by RipX. I've used the software for a couple of weeks now. It's something very new to me. I've never heard of this technology before. It's really in depth. Like I said, the amount of stuff you can do with this is crazy. But before we get into it, be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe. And yeah, let's get into it. So as you can see, as you open up RipX, it's a pretty simple layout. One thing that I instantly realized is there's no like hidden menus. Everything that you see in front of you is what you can use. So I feel like compared to other doors like FL Studio, this just helps for workflow. It just looks clean. You know, you only have your main playlist that you can drag in your samples or songs, and then I'll explain all these other tabs on the sides in a minute. So starting off, I'm just going to drag in a unreleased song me and my homie made. And as soon as you drag it into RipX, you can actually select exactly what you want to stem out. So it gives you the option to only select the voice, the bass, other instruments, or the drums. For now, I'm just going to select all of them so you can kind of have a good idea of what it's all about. It does take a few minutes for the software to rip the audio file, but trust me, when you guys see what this can do, it's worth it. So after the rip is done, as you can see, this might look a bit weird to you. It's not really MIDI or audio that is being displayed in RipX. It's kind of a mesh of the two, and this is kind of part of this new AI software. So at the top left, you can see your rips, which is basically any song that you drag in, and below that you can see your layers, which is basically your stems. So your master will be gray, the voice will be yellow, bass will be blue, percussions will be pink, etc. And with this you can easily solo out the voice if you want the acapella.
Heavy like Jack, call it Cadillac. Got it on deck, but it's in the back. Look at that girl, could you handle that? On the t-shirt, put me on the map.
Or you can mute the voice to only get the beat. Just for reference, this is how the entire song sounds together.
Heavy like Jack, call it Cadillac. Got it on deck, but it's in the back. Look at that girl, could you handle that? On the t-shirt, put me on the map. Only one more, cause you ready on fire. Moving like you, that baddie bad.
And on the left of your layers, you have a little EQ going, so you can boost the lows, cut out mids, or take highs out completely. There's also a stereo slider as well.
Heavy like Jack, call it Cadillac. Got it on deck, but it's in the back. Look at that girl, could you handle that?
And the way this AI works is it'll label specific layers what it thinks it is. So the voice will obviously be the vocals. The guitar might be some melodic element in your track. It might not actually be a guitar, but they just label it as is. And from that you can imagine it'll pick up the kick drum soloed, and also stuff like hi-hats and claps will be grouped together. So if you want to mesh all your drums together, you can easily just go on the kick drum, press Ctrl A to select all, and then just click on this arrow to transfer your kick drum into your drum layer. The first thing you can do is you can actually go into the vocals and repitch anything by dragging it up or down.
Put me on the map. Put me on the map. Put me on the map.
Another thing you can do is you can actually reharmonize the entire song. So you can go to the bottom left over here to set musical scale. You can detect the scale of your song. So this one, for example, is in B harmonic minor. And you can actually change up the entire scale by selecting a scale and just selecting auto pitch to scale.
On the map. Only one more, cause you ready on fire. Moving like you, that baddie bad.
So as you can imagine, you can get really creative in remixing songs. You can take, like I said, your favorite Billboard chart song, rip the acapella, and whatever beat you have for the remix, you can completely reharmonize it to fit your beat. And I just feel like that's a really cool tool. I've never seen any other software do anything like this. I've seen a lot of counterparts that do the same thing in separating the stems, but it doesn't give you as full control as RipX does. But for now, I'm just going to change it back to the harmonic minor that I had. Another cool thing you can do with the effects is you can actually group your notes. So if you only want to like change up the intro of your song, you can just select it by clicking and dragging, and then Ctrl G to group them them together. So whenever I click on this box,
Heavy like Jack, call it Cadillac.
it'll only select those notes. Well, those notes. I don't even know what to call this, to be fair. And another cool thing with these effects is you can actually audition them before actually applying them. So as I play this, I'll just play around with some of these effects so you guys can hear how it sounds.
Heavy like Jack, call it Cadillac. Got it on deck, but it's in the bag. Look at that girl, could you handle that? On the t-shirt, put me on the map. Only one more, cause you better go far.
And you can confirm these effects by just clicking on the slider instead of just hovering over it with your mouse. And as you can see, as you add an effect, there will be an automation bar at the bottom. So with this, you can easily just draw in with left clicking and just have full control of the entire automation clip. I really like this automation style. It's really quick, it's really easy. And to remove the point, you can just control click. And it'll straighten it all out for you. Another cool thing you can do with these effects is you can have presets. So as you can see, there's already a couple of presets down here, stuff like reverb and just vibrato and harmonies. You can actually drag in your own effects as well. So just by clicking and dragging it, you can drop down a reverb preset and just drop that menu down, and you can add in a delay if you want to, and then you just have your own little effects chain that you can apply to any note or any group of notes. One of the more interesting and experimental things you can do with this is you can switch up an instrument or layer entirely with a new sound. So I can take, for instance, this voice that I have and swap it in for a guitar or a piano or a bassoon if I want to. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of brass instruments as well available, so you can really get experimental and creative with this. So for an example, I can take this bass sound which is just a normal 808 and a synth bass. I can select that and click Ctrl A to select the entire layer and replace it with a piano. This isn't the best example for it though, because this bass is extremely low. I just dragged in a new song from the same homie because I realized that other song was not gonna work with this feature. So here's the entire song together.
Down for you, loving you, me and you, it's just us two. Every night, overdue, wanting you and only you.
So for now, I'm just gonna solo what they labeled as the guitar, which is basically the sample of the beat. And then I'll go to the bottom right here and just play around with whatever I can switch up. So off this feature alone, I feel like the software is crazy. I've really experimented with a bunch of songs now, and it just opens up so much more to music in general by just ripping up any song you like. Like I said, you can take like a Billboard song, and if there's some flute melody or guitar lick that you really like, you can just drag it into here, solo it out, and then change it into any instrument. You can change up the pattern completely, add effects. Like, the possibilities are really endless. Another really cool thing you can do is you can actually use your mic and record a line of a melody or something that's been stuck in your head that you want to just lay down, and you can actually change that into an instrument. So I can record my voice and then change that into a guitar, a piano, a saxophone. I would rather not bless you guys with my voice because I'm a producer for a reason. And then the last thing I'd like to show you guys is the export settings. So when you go to file and select export, you can either choose to create a single file, or you can actually separate the stems or the layers. So even just dragging this in and exporting it out as stemmed, you can take it to FL Studio or any DAW and literally just take the hi-hats of a beat that you like, or take the sample of a beat that you like and flip it into something of your own. Another really dope thing you can do, as you can see under the file format, you can bounce this out as a wave or an MP3, but you can also bounce it out as a MIDI. So you can actually take a drum pattern or a bass line, export it out as a MIDI, and then bring it into FL Studio or your DAW of choice and just play around with that. So like I said, the possibilities are really endless. The software is something I've never seen before. It's really innovative, and yeah, it's just creative. I've been playing around with it for weeks now. I've been enjoying it a lot, and yeah, if you guys want to check it out, there's a free trial available. I'll leave the link in the description so you guys guys can mess around with it yourself. But that is about it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something new. Shout out to Hidden Mix again for sponsoring this video. The software was really fun to use. There are a lot of pros to the software, but there are also some cons to it. I tried using the software with a lot of my beats, and the beats I make don't really have standout layers. The sample is kind of meshed into each other. There's not like an instrument playing. If you have something more acoustic, a singer-songwriter song where there's just a piano and a bass line, or maybe some violins with a vocal, it's way easier to extract it. It's way easier to replace the sounds, but I couldn't really show you guys because of copyright, so I just kind of had to go with the beats I had. But besides that, the features are incredible. They constantly update the software as well with new features. There's actually an update out that I haven't used that I'm going to download right now just to get into new features, and I'm sure they're going to improve this a ton. Like I said, I haven't seen anything like this before, so I think they can only go up from here. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and a comment. Sorry again for this janky ass setup, but yeah, I hope you guys keep well, and I'll check you guys in the next one.